I never thought about grief or premenopausal symptoms being connected to hydration before. But when I had my conversation recently with Dr. Nyasha, she really sort of just shedded some light on how those two things are connected to drinking more water. So, y'all join me for that conversation with Dr. Nyasha today, one of our former hydrators. And she shares with us just what she was experiencing and before the hydration challenge and why she actually decided to join. So I really hope that you guys get a lot out of this conversation, and I'll see you soon. You just gotta flow.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta just flow like water, because even when it's like, think about water.
Yeah.
Think about water,
Right. Perfect segue, right?
right? Think about water. And I wasn't even thinking about that, but thank you. Water, once it, because it flows, because that's the definition of water, flow.
Mm-hmm.
It will find its way through any damn thing.
Oh, that's so true.
You know what I'm saying? Like even like plastic, it'll sweat its way through something.
Oh, that's so true.
Metal, it'll evaporate itself through something. Like it figures out how to
Oh, that's a
flow.
good word. I'm like, that is a good word on this
Don't
Sunday.
it? No, it just
Yeah.
figures out how to fucking flow. So it's like, as difficult as the circumstances are, we gotta just be water.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta become water
Mm.
and
I
flow.
love,
And flow.
I love that.
Drop the mic, walk away, end the conversation.
Oh, you're
Have a
like the doors of the
wonderful
church are
Sunday.
open, people. Go have a good day. Be
Have a,
blessed.
have a great day. So you joined our hydration challenge,
I did.
and I wanted you to jump on Dr. Nyasha today to share with folks why you wanted to join the hydration challenge and just all the things that you gleaned from that experience. So first of all, tell folks who you are, what you do,
Mm-hmm.
and we can get started with that.
Yeah, Dr. Nyasha Grayman. I am a counseling psychologist and a licensed therapist in Maryland and Virginia, soon to expand to DC. That should be coming this month. And I specialize in working with Black women experiencing grief, loss, and other life transition stress.
Oh, wow.
Yes, the hydration challenge. I mean, I need to practice what I preach. So, with my clients, when we're talking about integrative work and managing grief and stress and loss, I'm checking in with them around their hydration intake. How are they hydrating? So this was completely up my alley. Absolutely something I needed to get on board with. And it was everything I hoped it would be and so much more. The education that was provided with the actual challenge was fantastic. I still have my app, the water alert app, which reminds me to drink some water. I am nowhere near as diligent as I was when I was on the challenge, but I've said this to you before. I'm an incrementalist, so we're building habits, and we build them slowly, brick by brick. But even just having that app on my phone reminding me it's time to drink some water. I always have a bottle with me. I know I need to be drinking about 4 of these a day. Even if I don't meet the goal that day, now that I'm off the challenge, that habit has been formed as a result.
So I want to go back quickly to something you said about women who are experiencing grief and hydration. Why is
Mhm,
that? Why is hydration something that you remind them of when they're
mhm.
going through what they're going through?
Oh, goodness. Because we think about how all of our systems get dysregulated um, during a grief journey. And so the importance of taking, I mean, water and sleep and then food are the three most important things that we want to make sure we're staying on top of, particularly when we're acutely distressed. Um, you've talked about this in your work many times, all of the ways our bodies and our organs actually need water, how much of our bodies are made up of water, how little of it we're drinking, and dehydration is definitely not something you want to contend with on top of your grief. And so those three basics of hydration, sleep, and the food that we're eating are things that I try to focus on.
Wow, that's dope.
Mhm, mhm.
So let's talk a little bit more about you during the hydration challenge. So I'm glad to hear that, you still, it's still top of mind.
Hmm.
During the hydration challenge, what kinds of things? Well, I'll say this, before you started, what were you experiencing in your body?
Mm.
And when you introduced more water regularly,
Hmm.
what did you notice?
Yeah, so I am perimenopausal, and one of the things that I noticed was that I had more ache in my joints. So I had to stretch a lot more, but I think that I was not drinking enough water as well, and that was contributing to it. And I did notice, and I said it was a brief period of time. So the challenge was 2 weeks, and I really didn't start until the first week. So I'm going to do the September challenge that's starting and make sure I do the full 2 weeks, but I did feel as though I was less achy
Mm.
once I started the hydration challenge. And again, I think I'll have a better sense after I do the challenge again September. But it did feel as though I was less achy.
And I would say, the chiropractor always talks about buoyancy in the
Mm,
body.
mm-hmm,
And one of the ways that they know that the body is not hydrated properly is the give back.
mm-hmm,
And they're adjusting you.
mm-hmm,
People are nervous about being adjusted, right?
mm,
But the
mm,
reason why is because they're dry inside.
mm, mm,
And
mm,
so I would think that some of the aching is attributed to, like you said, lack of water, but there's a buoyancy that you're looking for.
mm.
As you drink more water, you can develop that buoyancy in the bones.
Yeah.
And they know. So it's not like, oh, let me drink this water before I go get adjusted. It's not that. It's
Mm-hmm,
months and months and months of pre.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
so the more you hydrate, you're gonna feel that bounce.
mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm.
like you said, the joints, you might need some other things. I will say that.
Right.
So for those of you who are listening to this,
Mm-hmm,
you might need if there are aches in the joints, you might need some turmeric, some ginger, along with the hydration. Some
mm-hmm,
spirulina, the green powders that are chlorophyll based or algae based
mm-hmm.
to help to recover, to help for reducing inflammation, those kinds of things. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But we're looking for buoyancy. I think
Mm.
that's something that people need to really think about as they get older.
Mm.
Still be buoyant.
I like that. Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Anything else that you felt like you experienced as continued hydrating? I know that you really enjoyed that content.
Mhm.
You
Oh
feeling in
my
your
God.
body.
I loved the meetings when you had the guests come on and give information. It was so good. Oh my goodness. I love the community. So you set it up so that you have an accountability partner. And because I started late, I didn't have my accountability partner, but I had the whole online community, and that was very active. People were checking in, throughout. So it was also, a social and emotional buoyancy that was added during the challenge that I think was really valuable.
So talk to me a little bit more about premenopausal and you know, what kinds of things you're experiencing as a result of that, and even maybe some guidance that you've gotten around things that you can do to be proactive as you
Mm,
this journey,
mhm.
this phase.
Yeah, so what I'm learning is that like grief, the perimenopause journey is as unique as a fingerprint. Everybody is completely unique. There are some symptoms that a lot of people seem to share. I mean, the prototypical one that we hear about is hot flashes, but that's not the case for everyone. It wasn't the case for me.
Hmm.
So I did not have any of the typical symptoms of perimenopause aside from, I think, like the joint achiness. Um, a really good resource that I use is the podcast Menopause Whilst Black. So it's UK based. It is exceptional. It is really good. So I highly recommend that. You'll get a lot of tips around different uh, ways to manage. They're talking about HRT, hormone replacement therapy, not using hormone replacement therapy. It is very interesting to me that Black women as a collective seem to be pretty resistant to using hormone replacement therapy and prefer the naturopathic routes. But the podcast also covers women who had that disposition and then decided to give HRT a try, and the need to blend our naturopathic approaches with, traditional Western approaches sometimes to really get a result. But I found that very interesting was the dialogue around HRT, um, and the extent to which we're resistant to taking it. They talked a lot about doctors a lot of times not knowing what to do, prescribing antidepressants for,
Really?
yeah, for perimenopause symptoms, which for some people it helped because they actually needed antidepressants, but it wasn't really because of the perimenopause system. So there's a lot that I'm still learning, and it's an experience that I'm also learning. You learn as you go. I had never heard of perimenopause. I had only, until I started going through it, I'd only heard menopause. I never heard of perimenopause and didn't understand the distinction between the two, which is that you're in perimenopause until you go a full calendar year without having a menstrual cycle, without having a menses. Um, and so that can last, I'm learning, for multiple years for some women, as long as a decade. I'm learning about women who are experiencing early onset perimenopause, and then not only the biological implications, but then the social and spiritual and psychological implications of what that means if you're someone who wanted to biologically have children and maybe a door is closing that you thought was going to be open. So it's a whole
Whole
new
thing.
world. Yeah, it is a whole thing. And our generation is the generation that's put it on the table and said, we're going to talk about it. You know, that video that, which has become a phenomenon, with our sister who talked about, like, yeah, we don't care anymore. We're not doing that. We're not risking hip fractures.
Oh
But
yeah.
it is a whole world that I didn't know anything about until I entered it.
Oh my God, that video, you posted that in our community. The little, I think she is English or she's from Australia. She had on her little bikini outfit.
No, that wasn't me. Not that one. This
Not
one, it
which
was a black.
one?
This is a black American woman, and she had on the pink robe, and she's talking
Oh
about,
yeah, wait. I don't care.
right, we don't care
We
anymore.
don't care. She had her mug. That
Right,
one.
she had her mug. We don't care. We don't care if you see us
Yes,
in the
yes, yes,
chair
yes.
at the traffic light. That's the best lighted angle. Uh,
Yes. No,
yeah,
yes, but you posted something else.
yeah.
And oh my gosh, just hilarious. But you're right. I think this is a conversation I was having yesterday, Dr. Nyasha. I was like, some of us just don't understand. We can't fathom why if you were diagnosed with, chronic dehydration or, hypertension, why you wouldn't take action right away to
Mm-hmm,
address it.
mm-hmm,
But what I'm realizing is a lot of times we don't know what to really do because we didn't have models to go to from, our parents, our family members, to really see how to grow old with grace, to see how to heal yourself naturally with something, right? And
mm-hmm,
so it's very brave, I would say, now for us to say, you know what, I don't want to do hormone replacement therapy. I don't want to do HRT.
mm-hmm,
I want to try something new because I've seen what medication has done to y'all. I've seen
mm-hmm,
what it's done to my mom, my dad, whomever. And
mm-hmm,
I know that there's a different way. I
mm-hmm,
know that we're paving a whole new frontier for ourselves because many of us don't have examples of healing,
mm-hmm,
how to address, just getting older and what
mm-hmm.
that looks like because people have even died off early at
I
50s
was think
and they
that's
died.
exactly something that
So
I
the
was going to say.
fact that
Some of us have not actually seen people get older.
you see what I'm saying? Like we 51, 52, we don't look it. We don't
Mhm,
look it, right?
mhm,
So you have aunties, parents even that died in their 50s.
mhm,
So okay, what do I do now? I'm here. I'm feeling these feelings. What the hell do I do? How do I take care of myself?
mhm,
Really take care of myself? What kinds of activities should I be doing every day?
mhm, mhm,
Practices should I be doing every day? What doctors should I be doing? What kind of modalities should I be including in my wellness journey?
mhm,
Should I be talking to every day to check in? I
mhm,
have someone who's my accountability buddy, and we send blood pressure screenings to each other every single day.
Wow.
We send our hydration numbers every day.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to talk to her. We ain't on the phone like that, but we've been together for 5 years. And when we need to call each other and talk to each other, we do.
Hmm.
But just someone who there's no judgment.
Wow. Hmm.
It's someone who's in my life that gets it. They're going
Hmm.
through the same kind of thing. They're on
Hmm.
the same healing journey.
Hmm.
And that they can ask a question if something's a little off. They're like, "Did you try this today? Did you
Hmm.
try that? Check it
Hmm.
later and then just send it to me. Let me just see." So
Hmm.
it takes the stress and the shame out
Hmm.
of my God, because I think a lot of that is we're not always sure
Yeah.
how we're going to be perceived by other people when we
Hmm.
start sharing what we're dealing with.
Yes. Yes.
Have someone who is working on similar goals that you
Hmm.
have.
Hmm.
It just makes the world of difference. All you need is one other person. That's
That's
it.
right. That's right. Hmm.
That's it. So, girl, this perimenopausal, thank you for that. Thank you for
Hmm.
sharing that.
Yeah.
And I know for sure that the hydration piece with our systems, our body systems, particularly as we age. I always
Hmm.
say I want to be a plump old lady because,
Hmm.
when you look at elders, they look shriveled up.
Hmm. Hmm.
Their metabolism slows down. They don't want to eat as much. They're not drinking enough water. You know it. I don't want to be a shriveled up old lady. I want to look just as juicy,
It's and moist
moist and
and
hydrated and ready.
hydrated.
At 70, 80, as I am
Mhm.
right now. Damn it. Okay, y'all heard it from me.
Mhm.
Moist, hydrated, and
And
juicy.
hydrated. Mhm. That's the goal.
That's the
Mhm.
goal, right? That's the
Mhm.
goal. That's the
Mhm.
goal. So let me ask you this because I know you have to go. We can't stand here too long.
Mhm.
If there's someone who's been thinking about doing the hydration challenge, but they've
Mhm.
just been, on the fence, what would you say to them?
Oh, absolutely do it. I mean, it's low stakes, it's low cost, and it's all benefit. Absolutely do it. There's no reason to not give it a try. Especially I feel like with it being a 2-week challenge, um, I actually don't typically like challenges. Like, that became a whole thing where everyone was doing 30-day challenges. I typically don't like challenges. But when I saw this, I said, this I can do. 2 weeks, I can give this a try. Let me give it a try. And I actually, after the 2 week, I am going to do the 30-day the next time you do the 30-day one.
Yeah,
But if you're someone who's on the fence, even if you're someone who doesn't typically like challenges, just I would say do it. Like it's affordable. Just give it a try.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, way over deliver for the value. I mean, you get way more than your entry fee for it.
Beautiful. All right,
Mhm,
so Dr. Nyasha, if someone is looking to get counseling,
mhm.
do you do virtual work at all?
I do. I do. I do in-person walk and talk nature-based therapy, and I do virtual therapy, and I do a combination in Maryland, in Northern Virginia, and like I said, that DC license should be coming through any day now. And so I'll
Excited.
be able to do it in DC as well. But if you're in Virginia or if you're in Maryland or even if you're in DC and then you can cross the line into Maryland or Virginia, then we can work together.
How wonderful. All right, thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Nyasha. All right, y'all have it. And look, the next hydration challenge is coming up September 1st through the 21st. So please make sure that you guys join, tell a friend. And I'm telling you, if it's not just you, you know somebody that needs this, please send them our way and maybe even participate with them so that they have some support and accountability along the journey. All right. You guys take care and we'll talk to you soon.
All
Peace.
right. Bye.